We think California raisins are really a perfect sweet ingredient. A key to that is that they're completely naturally made. They're sun-dried, which really develops their unique flavor and consistent high level of sweetness. There's nothing added to them, no sugar added. So they can be declared as they don't have to be declared as added sugars on the nutrition facts panel, and that's very important to many food manufacturers and consumers as well who are trying to avoid added sugars. They also contain added nutrients, including fiber, potassium, iron, all of which enhance the nutritional profile of the foods that they're added to. In addition, California raisins provide many functional benefits when they're used in food formulation. That includes they help reduce fat in formulations, they help in binding ingredients together, they help to preserve moistness in products because they hold on to moisture. And then one of their key properties is that they can help to extend shelf life due to antimicrobial properties of the grapes. And that's a real value in short expiration products like fresh bakery items. Yeah, they obviously value the high quality. That's why around the world we definitely command a premium pricing. They're produced under the strictest standards in the world that's both enforced by the state of California and then also the United States Department of Agriculture. One unique thing about California raisins is that they're produced in a very small geographic area. So all of the California raisins are produced within a 60-mile radius of Fresno in the San Joaquin Valley. So quality is extremely consistent. The product can be traced back to the individual family farmer that grows them. And those strict standards ensure that the California raisins are produced with both the consumers in mind, but also with the environment in mind as well. California raisins are inspected throughout the process, from growing to when they're delivered to the packer and from when they leave the packer. And those standards ensure that the sweetness is at a very consistent and high level, that the size is consistent, the moisture level is consistent, stems which occur when the grapes are taken off the vine, those are all removed because nobody wants to eat a raisin and get a stem in there. They've been thoroughly washed, and again that makes it so when those raisins arrive to a customer that wants to then use them, put them in something, they don't have to do any extra washing. They can just take them right out of the box, put them into the mixer with no additional cleaning steps. We do activities that both target food developers and then also directly to consumers. And obviously importers understand that both of those are important. From the food developer standpoint, we educate food manufacturers with webinars. We've done a lot more webinars in the past 2 years because we haven't been able to gather in person. But before that, we certainly did trade show events as well, and we're returning to doing trade show events again, where we educate food manufacturers on the benefits of incorporating California raisins in their products, and then tips on how to process with them. We also then reach out directly to consumers and educate them on the nutrition benefits of raisins, and then also to inspire them about creative ways that they can use raisins in either their cooking or their baking. We do that through a variety of vehicles, print advertising in magazines, digital advertising, and then we have a big social media component to our communication plan. And again, prior to COVID, we did a number of sampling events. We did less of those during COVID. I think we're starting to get back to doing some of those again. And then as well, we put point of purchase materials in retail stores to help them highlight products with California raisins. Yeah, it depends on short-term versus long-term. Short-term, definitely the in-store events have the biggest impact because they're close to where the product is purchased. So we do those both in retail supermarkets and as well as in bakeries. Those really drive the most immediate sales. But our direct-to-consumer education efforts, those have a broader reach. So we reach a lot more people with those. And so long-term, that's really the communication that's going to help drive the long-term consumption of raisins in Mexico. Last year, we significantly ramped up our consumer advertising campaign, and we're already seeing the impact in increased demand. In addition, our trade education campaign is also key to long-term growth. Again, keeping the food developers educated about those benefits that raisins bring nutritionally and then functionally to their products. That helps to increase product innovation using California raisins and increases that availability and visibility of the raisins, different products that consumers can buy them in. The biggest opportunity is that raisin consumption in Mexico is not that high. It's relatively low, especially compared to the rest of North America. So it's probably about half the level per capita than the rest of North America. So obviously there's an opportunity to continue educating both Mexican food manufacturers, retailers, and consumers on the benefits of formulating with and consuming raisins. As far as challenges, raisins have been around for a long time. Mexico has their own raisin growing industry, so Mexicans are very familiar with raisins. So they sometimes, are kind of forgotten. They don't get as much attention. They're not the new thing on the block. But consumer attitudes are constantly changing. Nutrition, needs and wants are changing. And one thing that's changed recently is a really increased focus on reducing added sugars. From a food developer standpoint, that's because added sugars are now called out on nutrition labels, and consumers are looking at those and not wanting products with a lot of added sugars. So we think it's a great time for both the food trade and consumers to rediscover raisins. As I said before, raisins are a natural sweetness, so they don't get called out as an added sugar on those nutrition labels, and that's because they have a lot of other benefits to them besides adding sweetness, and those are the things I mentioned: fiber and potassium and iron that come with consuming a raisin. We're also the only active raisin marketing program actually around the world, but also in Mexico. And so again, we think California Raisins play a key role in this education effort to help educate the Mexican trade as well as the consumers on how to gain the support of both, in understanding the benefits of raisins. And again, we hope to gain the support of both food manufacturers and retailers in Mexico to help us have the biggest impact. Obviously, we partner with IMALinks in Mexico, who really understand the market there very well, and they help us, hone our messaging and choose the right tactics to, further that education effort. Raisins really have a pretty flat seasonality across the year, but there is a spike certainly during the holiday season because there are a number of holiday breads and desserts that utilize raisin. The classic, of course, is fruitcake, and which is known under many names in many different cultures, but a bread that incorporates fruit and nuts and other things. So I would say the holiday season is probably the biggest consumption period, but it's relatively even across the year. Raisins are a dried fruit. They have long, they can stay on the shelf for a relatively long period of time. And so they're a great ingredient to have in the pantry at any time. So you're ready and you have a fruit always in your pantry that's not going to go stale. So they really work year round, but definitely the highest consumption period I would say is whenever there's a holiday baking period. And again, that's that holiday, that Christmas time, Easter is another one. So several holiday periods where people do a lot of baking.